Jai Hind to all. I hope you all must be very fine, safe, and must be doing all the things which are required to do at home. In computer science, we have already covered the 14 chapters, and now 3 more chapters are left of class 11 computer science with Python. And today I have decided to cover your 15th chapter, number 15th. It's a cyber safety. Now, cyber safety is one of the chapter in computer science. Now the question arises here कि why we have cyber safety as a chapter. The reason is we are in the age of internet. 21st century guys like you all are in the age of internet, and that's why it's very required to use the internet very again safely. The reason world is using it, and this COVID-19 definitely again given us the opportunity to the people who are not knowing it to use it. And nowadays without online life is nothing. So with this I want to start the cyber safety chapters of yours. Now cyber means internet. Cyber word means web or internet, and safety as you all know. Now as you all know, precaution is better than cure. It means we must save ourselves. We should not depend on someone to keep yourself or keep you safe. That's why it's, as a human being, it's our moral duty. As a human being, it's our fundamental again rights also and duty also to keep ourselves safe once we are on this virtual world. I said once we are there on this virtual world. Now virtual world means the world which is not real, though it seems to be real. We are not knowing to whom we are talking. Once I am on net, it's very tough to trap the person to whom I am interacting, or the real one to whom I should interact, or someone else. Behalf of him or her is there. That's always a confusion. That's why we should again act and react accordingly. It's a virtual world, again interact virtually. No need to give the real again data of yours. No need to disclose the real identity of yours if it is not required. Always reply in very again few words which are required to. Someone is asking your name, give the name only. Don't go for your biodata. Then of course you will be in problem. So cyber safety are the measures or the safety precautions that we have to take once we are on the web, once we are exploring net, once we are browsing internet, once we are surfing internet, once you are accessing a websites. That is what the cyber safety is. And nowadays it's becoming more and more crucial for us, important for us. The person who hasn't the ideas about the safety measures, they will be easily again trapped. Because you know, this world has got both kind of people, good and bad. And God knows to whom you have to interact. If you are interacting with a good person, it's very fine, you are lucky enough. But most of the time we are interacting, or you may interact with a bad person. So how to know that and how to preserve ourselves, how to save ourselves, that is what this chapter is going to talk. That is what a cyber safety is. So cyber safety refers to the safe and minded, safe and responsible use of internet. Minded, safe you know, but responsible use of internet, sometimes you may have a confusion. Okay, what do you mean by responsible? Responsible means being as a user of this virtual world or internet, you also have to take some measures. Always try to interact how much it is required to interact. Use the language which are required to interact. Never again try to play with the sentiment of someone. Never try to unnecessarily again disturb someone. Never try to poke someone unnecessarily. Never try to create a trouble for others. This is what the responsible use as an users. If I am sending you mail, if I want to send a mail, it's my duty also what I should write. I have written everything, and then I'm expecting that I should not get reply like that. Not possible. That's why me as a user should be very responsible, and simultaneously I should use it safely. So cyber safety refers to the safe and responsible use of internet. I hope this two term is very clear. Safe and responsible means I should not access my computer from any corner of the world. I should sit on the computer which are very known to me. I should access the computer which have a security measures. It's not that you went anywhere, you went to your friend's house and then you start interacting, or you start using your friends because the friends having the internet connection, and let you realize your personal data has been leaked or identity theft is there. Definitely it will be, because it was not your computer where you should use, and you start using the computer without knowing the again measures, precautions, safety, securities of the computer. That's why it's called a responsible and safe use of internet is called cyber safety. So what is cyber safety? Cyber safety refers to the use of internet safely and with responsibility. That is what cyber safety is. Now the next is safely browsing the web. Once I'm accessing the internet, it's my again responsibility, or it should be there in my mind, I'm accessing my internet safely. Now how to use the internet safely, this is a big question mark. Definitely once you are browsing, don't consider whatever you are browsing is not known to others, will be not known to others. That may be known to others. The reason, your browser also again save lot of things of yours without your knowledge. You must have heard about the cookies. The small brief information about the every detail of your browsing are stored, and hackers, if your machine is vulnerable, if the hackers attack, the hacker can easily know about the kind of again browsing you have every day. That's why we should browse the things very safely. We must again browse privately if we can. Mind it, there is a normal browsing and there is a private browsing. If I'm again switching on to my private browsing mode, then it's always considered to be safe. If you have a like any antivirus, once you will start browsing, your antivirus will help you or guide you or let you know, kindly browse in a private mode. And if you allow the antivirus will take you to the private mode. So this is the first and foremost, you must have a browsing in the private mode if it is possible, so that the information that you browse, the things that you browse will be not stored anywhere, will be not known to anyone. Now, identity protections while using the internet is a very again crucial for us. Now, once I'm again accessing my net, my identity is very crucial for me. My identity is again one of the important thing for me. If someone will be me, or someone will try to pose like me, someone will try to act like me, I'll be in problem. So always your identity should be your identity only, not someone else. But mind it, once your personal information will leak, then someone else will become you and your identity is again at risk. So try to use the computer or internet or browse safely so that your identity will be always safe. Don't try to disclose the things which are not required to disclose to others. Even the opponent want that. Don't give. Suppose some accounts or some websites I'm browsing and they're asking about my mobile number, and if it is not required, why at all you'll give? And if you're giving, then you can understand that mobile number can be again create a problem for you that you had given on that websites. So your maybe the financially identity theft, once the financial again reports or information about yours, transactions that you did will leaked, then you'll be in problem, like your ATM card or debit card, credit card numbers. These are the financial identity theft. Now you may have a criminal identity theft. Mind it, if a criminal will use your identity to have a crime, then ultimately you will be in problem, because the information that the criminal using, it's yours. So of course, ultimately the crime that he is doing behalf of you, he is doing, and ultimately you will be in problem. So that is a second one. And third is medical identity theft. Sometime the reports of someone again, someone else try to know, and the doctors intensely or without intention shared the report. Though this is not right at all. If a person or a patient reports has been shared by the doctor to not the legitimate user, mind it, legitimate user I am talking, it means the user who is supposed to receive that report, then it's again the medical identity theft. So there are three different categories of the identity thefts are. It may be financial identity theft, once the information related to financial transactions leaked and your identity theft, then someone else behalf of you will try to do that transaction and ultimately you will be in problem. Second is criminal identity theft. Once your information leaked, some criminal has got through some source and they start misusing it, like your Aadhaar card. It's a signed one and you submit it to someone, and now on the basis of that a criminal got a SIM and he start calling someone, troubling someone. Now on whose identity card or whose Aadhaar card he got the SIM? Ultimately, once there will be a cyber laws, once there will be a FIR in the police try to know who is the actual owner of this SIM, and they will come to know about you, though you are not in picture, but indirectly you are in the picture. Reason, your identity, that is Aadhaar card, he again or criminal using like his own, and you will be in the problem. That is what it is. And medical identity theft, as I mentioned, once doctors shared the reports of a patient to someone else instead of the family's member or responsible member of that family, then it's also the one of the medical identity theft. Now, many ways websites track you. Once you are exploring the websites, your websites also again stored a lot of informations that sometimes you are not knowing. Most of the time you have seen, once you are on the websites, they are again saving your password, they are saving your IP address, they are saving your browsing history, they are saving the preferences of yours, they are sometime again storing the informations like what mostly you use, at what time, what you generally explode, and these all informations are stored once you are browsing our websites. So once we are browsing the websites, IP address of our computer easily again goes to the person who is basically responsible of that websites, managing that websites, owner of that websites, and if he would like to share, then definitely it will go to someone else also. That is what the problem is. Second is cookies and tracking script. Now cookies are basically the small file that created and stored the all browsing history of yours, as I mentioned, in the form of a small text stored in the temporary file of your computer, inside your computer, and that having the detail about the browsing history of yours. So that is a cookies, and this tracking script are the small programs that generally again download in your computer to track the history of yours, again browsing and exploring. Next, it is cookies, that is a small file created automatically and stored in your computer, where having a small brief about the browsing history are of two kinds: first party cookies and third party cookies. If it is a first party cookies, that is going to stored in the same, mind it, in the computers it going to stored first party cookies. These are the cookies that stored your own login ID, mind it. You must have got a message again flash out on your screens once you had entered the user and password. Do you want to save it? And options are also there, never, once, permanently, kind of things. And intensely or without intention, sometimes we used to say yes. Now that password is stored in your computers. If your hacker or if someone culprit try to again misuse it, they can easily access it. That is the first party cookies, which basically stored the all information of yours in your computer for your convenience. Second time, without the password you can also log in, because you once say saved. Once you set the saved, it means second time once you'll enter the username, automatically the password will be taken and your machine will be at risk also. Now third party. Website stored about the search history. Your websites itself again store the history of yours that you browse, that you explode, and that can be used. Once I'm again very fond of Flipkart, once my websites came to know about my interest, my again liking, disliking, then that company website, whose website it was, they can use it for advertisement purpose. For example, I always used to see the latest again gadgets. Now they are knowing about my interest with the help of websites, and they will send us this kind of advertisement which can attract me to have some transactions time to time once I'll open it. And that is what the third party cookies. So third party cookies basically again store the browsing history of yours and the company whose website it is. They are knowing your preferences, they are knowing you're interested, they are knowing your hobbies, and accordingly they will again send you or keep on sending the advertisement to sell out his product or goods. Now we have a HTTP referrer, mind it. Once you click on a particular website's link, mind it, if a website is again trying to take you to somewhere else, then there is a risk, more risk. Most of the websites you have seen after opening, they are asking about to click here to open this, and the next window, you are in the next window. Now here is the HTTP referrer. Basically, that website that you are using, having the detail of yours, and simultaneously it's referring to the other website to know about your information. It means now the information is again shared by the website that you had used or that you again browsed, and through that website you are again referring to some other website that website itself will take you after clicking on a link. That's called HTTP referrer. In this case, the third party, for example, if suppose I'm on the Google and I just opened the Google, and after opening the Google I've seen the advertisement of the LIC, or I've seen the advertisement of a particular mobile, and I clicked. Now after clicking, I'm not there in that websites that displayed the advertisement of a particular mobile. It will take me to the HTC, or maybe some other again me, or maybe Apple. It means that website is a HTTP referrer. It is referring the other websites about you, and your information is more vulnerable. Your information is stored again now into different places. That is what HTTP referrer. Super cookies. Now cookies, you have seen the first party cookies and the third party cookies. First party cookies, the cookies which basically again store the all information about your browsing and is stored in your computer for your reference. You can use it. Third party cookies, as you have seen, third party cookies store the all informations of yours or browsing histories of yours. HTTP referrer, the websites which basically take you to some other websites just to ask you to click here is HTTP referrer. And the super cookies is such cookies which never again delete from your computer, because super cookies store the information of your browsing into different places, and once you delete from one place, it basically again use the information that is there at the different places. That's what's called super cookie. So even you'll try to delete the temporary file from your or history again, browsing history from your computer, even after the information about your browsing will be there in your computer. Reason, the super cookie just stored the same information at not only a particular place but at different places. That is what super cookie is. Then we have a user agent also. Now these are the problem that generally happens or occurs once we browse the websites. What you've seen, the IP address leak, that is a chance your IP address of the computer. IP address you all must be knowing. It's a unique ID, or it's a unique number base address of your computer in a network to identify your computer. And that has got a 4-part separated by the dot basically if you're talking about the IP4, and always again unique in a particular network. That IP address immediately again will be known to the many because you are exploring a website, and website immediately connect with your IP address. Then second, you have seen the cookies and the tracking script. That's a problem. And the two kind of cookies, the first party and the third party. First party for what you do every day. That information is stored in your computer for your references. And the third party cookies is stored all information about the browsing history of yours and can be again misused later. HTTP referrer, some websites, once we start browsing, they takes us to the different again places or different websites. They allow us to connect with the different websites. They are known as HTTP referrer. Super cookies are the cookies which basically store the browsing history of your computer to different places. So even you are deleting from one location, still it is there in your computer at the different location without your information. And once one information has been deleted, your other hackers or others, they can track the cookies information from other sources. And then come to the user agent. Your browser also sends a user agent every time you connect to the websites. Mind it. Your browser like a Google Chrome or Opera Mini or maybe Firefox or maybe as you are using, whatever browser you're using, that browser sends this information to that's called user agent. Once we browse on it, this tells the websites, your browser and operating system providing another play. Mind it. This user agent is one of the again problem that basically takes all information about your browsing, and the job of the user agent to tell the websites that you are browsing what operating system you are using. Mind it, what operating system you are using means people are knowing about your OS. And you know OS have a great role to play in your browsing and in every kind of again task that you're performing. Then it's also again have your browser and operating system provide another piece of the data that can be stored and used to the target ads. Mind it. And this all information that a user agent sends once we are browsing, so that information can be used for the advertisement sake, and later you start getting the advertisement. Once you are browsing something of a particular kind, you surprised why this ad is coming, but the information about yours browsing already again sent through the user agent. So you must have a private browsing, you must have an anonymous browsing. There's two kind of browsing we have. Now, once I'm talking about anonymous browsing, it means the browsing that you generally do, normally do. Once I'm exploring a websites and revealing any personal information to the user like IP address and the machine type and the location, etc. This is what information anonymous browser lets user access websites anonymously. Mind it, once a user is not registered and they are accessing the websites, they are known as anonymous user, and their information is all like a IP address of your computer, machine type that you're using, location of yours, automatically it goes. Second is a private browsing. Some of the websites, and most of the website, not some of the website, most of the website gives us the facility to have a private browsing. Try to use the private browsing if you can. It will be always again better than the anonymous browsing. And you have a virtual private network most of the time once you are on a Wi-Fi. Once you are in the Wi-Fi network, you must have seen the VPN. VPN again networking, and that basically the virtual private network you are establishing so that information about your again browsing will be not known to it. And in the Wi-Fi, VPN again technology is very successful. You are also using the proxy. Proxy, if you are using a proxy server, then proxy server act like a middleman between you and your websites. So the information about your websites, it not again directly sends or directly stored somewhere else. Proxy again divert that, acts as a middleman, and through proxy it filtered. That is what the proxy is. Now, confidentiality of your informations. Your information that your personal information, I mean, or the information that you provided to a particular website should be always confidential. That should be not unnecessary again given and shared to the person who is not at all a right person. And that is what the problem we are facing. Our information that we provided for some sake has been leaked or shared or maybe copied somewhere. And that is what we are facing nowadays on cyber or cyber activity or on net once we are exploring. That's why I said initially, provide the information which are only required. Don't blindly again give any kind of information what is being asked. Make sure that what information they are asking, for what sake they are asking, is it required to give. Otherwise, most of the information that is not required to give something else, not a real information. Because confidentiality of the information is very required. Information that you shared should be very confidential between you and the party to whom you shared. If the third party, if someone else will come to know, for example, Flipkart, I am doing a transaction, and my card detail is only again required to give or shared with the Flipkart, and the Flipkart like a portal that basically helping us to have a transaction. For a while, it should be shared, and after that, the card detail should be not anywhere stored. If it is stored or if it is storing, then there is a chances always that my card can be misused. That's why the confidentiality of the information are very required. And the practices to ensure the confidentiality of information, how to make the information confidential, there are many again practices that we can do. I'll explain some of that. After that, I'll continue the next day. One is use a firewall wherever it is possible. Firewall, you all know, it's inbuilt features on the net or on your Windows. Once we are accessing your computer, before accessing, try to make your firewall on. It's inbuilt against securities of the Windows that help us to avoid the unauthorized persons to access your computer. That is what firewall is. So always switch on your firewall if you can. Next is control the browser setting to block the tracking. Go to the browser setting and try to control the browser again tracking. There are many again settings in the browsing. Before starting the browsing, must go to that again browser and go to the